Alrighty, welcome everybody to episode 197 of the Michael Lab Show. A few things. I want to get. This is going to be a hard episode for me, and I'm going to get into obviously everything. I'm going to get into the reason why after I mess up my hip even more. So this is not going to be an easy episode for me. I'm most likely going to end up crying a few times. And on top of that, I also have a pretty nasty cold. Like, Jesus. Jesus Christ, man. We should have kept this damn mask on. Look at me. Now I'm like Jesus, just color my hair blue and put me out in the streets and I'll yell, yo, mask on forever, man. I want my mask on forever, dude. I want my mask on forever, man. But I apologize for the lack of video on Tuesday. I'm gonna get into everything. It's gonna be hard for me to kind of navigate my way through these waters. I'm not worried about crying. I could care less. I think it's important for people to show real emotions, which is something I've never steered away from that on this podcast. My hair looks horrible. Jesus Christ. Nobody probably watches this podcast for the way I look. I look like a monster. I look terrible, dude. My dumbass did like a whole load of laundry because where I'm staying right now, the laundry's kind of like broken. Like the washing machine's kind of broken. So that means if I wanted to do laundry by hand, I could do it, or I could just come back to my house and do laundry there. And my dumbass goes ahead and does laundry. And then immediately jumps into the shower, trying to shower off the 4.5 miles I ran this morning, which was the first time I ran/worked out in about a week. It's been a while. It's been a little bit just nasty cold, man. Like, I don't know. I think I'm finally getting over it. Like, there was a solid 2 or 3 days there where my throat was just pummeled, dude. And I don't know if it's because that's just a cold, and it's been so long since I had a cold, like a year because of COVID, and everyone's wearing masks, and if everyone wears masks, say what you want, but the chances of you getting sick are heavily reduced because everyone has a mask on. And then I got sick, and I think my immune system hasn't been sick in over a year. Like, I haven't actually been sick in about a year. I think most people haven't been sick in a year, so that just kind of, it took me out, dude. Like, I'm just such a bitch. I was constantly just like that spray stuff that you put in your throat to numb up your throat. I was just clogging that into my face, dude, like nonstop. I'm kind of like shortness of breath too. I probably had COVID, dude. I'm probably a breakthrough case. Just kidding. I did not have COVID. So I'm finally getting over that. I went to the gym. I worked out this morning. Like I said, first time in like a week. And I apologize I didn't upload a video. It was I couldn't do it. I couldn't get myself to do anything. So one thing I just want to mention real quick, this has helped me a lot with, I guess, like being on my phone. Like, there was a moment there where so one of the happiest times I've ever been in my life, and I keep replaying this over in my head. And the only thing that was different about this week was that I didn't have a phone. Like, I went to the lake one time with my girlfriend and my girlfriend's family. And the first year I went, I think I was on T-Mobile, and I didn't have any service. I had zero service. I started my podcast at the time. I apologize. Every time I talk, I feel like I'm going to cough. I started my podcast at the time, and I wanted to upload videos and stuff, but at the same time, if I go like that, it's just in the camera, dude, it's bothering the shit out of me, dude. Whatever. I'm ugly anyways. It was like the happiest I've ever been. I didn't have access to the internet. I had no direct contact to phones. Like, I had no internet access. I didn't know what was going on. The only thing I did see was that, like, Brian Callen and Chris D'Elia got in trouble. But besides that, I didn't see anything else. Like, every once in a while, I would get on my phone just to, like, go ahead and see my videos uploaded. And the only reason I was able to do that is because it was my girlfriend. Hey, girlfriend, or hey, Taylor, can you go ahead and put on your little searchy thing, like your hotspot? And I would hook up to her hotspot. It sounds weirdly odd. But I'll hook up to my girlfriend's hotspot, and then I would just see what was going on with all that stuff. But I remember that was like one of the best weeks of my life because I just had no access to my phone. So what I did, I was listening to the Mark Norman, Giannis Pappas, and Whitney Cummings podcast on What's Up podcast. I don't know, something like that. Good for You podcast with Whitney Cummings. And can you guys hear me? I guess I don't know. That's a terrible question. But Good for You podcast, and she said that she put her phone in gray mode, which is really nice. So you can kind of see right here. That's just me timing myself on the podcast, but everything's black and white. Like there's no color on your phone. Now there's color if you take if I take a Snapchat of this red chicken right here and I send it to you, this red chicken right here, it shows up red for you, but when I take it, it's just black and white. And I remember the first day I did it, I thought it was like bogus. I was like, nothing's gonna happen. Like it's baloney. Like it doesn't mean anything. But it actually does help. It keeps me off my phone more. I get bored on my phone. Like you got to think how many times like colors like drag your attention to things. It's like it's like marketing 101. There's a reason why you don't see a lot of black and white like marketing like commercials. Like there's a reason why TV is so much better when it's in color. Like there's a reason why Hollywood doesn't go ahead and put out black and white movies anymore, because it just doesn't draw our attention. Like we like colors, we associate colors with certain things, biologically and evolutionarily, we've adapted ourselves to certain colors. But that's helped me a lot. It's been one of the things that has really kind of helped me stay off my phone. What else? That's it. So let's go ahead and get into the topic. I'm gonna try to be this is the first time I've told anybody. This is the first time besides people I work with, because I needed to get a shift covered. This is the first time I put it out on social media. I went ahead and I was about to repost one of my Instagram posts just with a caption on my Instagram story, but I didn't feel like it was right. I don't feel like I'm not looking for sympathy. What I want to do is just be honest with everybody. And the thing that I really want people to understand the most is that there's things in your life that you don't realize how much of an impact they bring to you. And also there's not a reason why things come in your life. Like there's not always a reason, and like looking for the why is a waste of time, and I've kind of realized that, like, what is your why? It's like, it doesn't matter what my why is. Your why is not important, because if you constantly spend time looking for the reason why you want to do something, why you want to do something, what do you get out of it? You're wasting your life. You're wasting your life away. Like everything that you have in your life at this time is there. And it could be gone tomorrow. It could be gone by noon. You just have no idea. And I think it's very important for people to stop looking for answers for everything. And I know for me, I'm guilty. I mean, look at this. Look at my books. I'm not saying don't read, but I'm somebody who always looks for answers for everything. I want to know why I do what I do, why people say what they say. And I'm starting to realize after this past week that, man, life doesn't give... I'm not going to curse because I don't want to lose my dark. I said I don't want to lose my ad. I was going to say I don't want to lose my ad revenue on this episode, but that sounds really terrible. Life doesn't give a crap about your why. You don't exist in life, you're very much nothing, you're a consciousness that walks around this world, and if you're dead, your consciousness wouldn't be around either. So what you are is just you're a collection of living things that make one big living thing. And you should live a life without looking for answers, or just instead of doing that, just live a life where you are bringing the most joy possible to your own life. So let's just take it back. Let me just get into it. I've procrastinated now for 9 minutes because I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it because I'm just now done crying. After 4 days of tears. So Taylor and I were at my parents' house on Wednesday night, and we were hanging out with the dogs, Riley and Charlie, out back, and there was no issues, there was no issues at all. Charlie was messing around with a cicada. So Charlie's my family's dog, my dog too. She's a huge dog. Like she's 100-pound, purebred black German Shepherd. She's a working dog. She's a maniac. Like she will run you over 3 times just because you're in the way. But she's such a sweetheart. she's such a sweetheart. She brings, she's she's a loud dog that will stress your life out, but she's a great dog. Um, and just a quick funny story because this is gonna be hard for me to talk about. She was messing around with the cicada out back, and I hope you guys can hear me. I know I'm really quiet. It's hard for me to talk. Like I'm sick and I'm a bitch. So that's gonna be the title. I'm a sick bitch. Anyways, she was messing around with the cicada. Riley comes on over. Riley goes ahead and messes with the cicada, and then she slurps up the cicada because I don't know if you know, but Riley eats cicadas. Like, she doesn't chew them. She just swallows them whole. Or she did. She did just swallow them whole. She used to just swallow them whole. And she swallowed this one up, and she comes walking towards me. I'm like, hey, buddy, you need to drop that. Like, I'm a pushover, but I have to lay my foot down at times. And I did. I put my foot down and said, hey, you got to drop that. She looked at me like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, why do I have to drop this? Like, come on, what are you doing? And I said, no, you have to drop it. And then she like opened up her mouth and just flew out of her mouth. Anyway, she went to bed that night, and she woke up the next morning on Thursday, and she couldn't walk. I went downstairs to let her out because when Taylor and I wake up in the morning, Taylor goes to the bathroom, she uses the restroom, she brushes her teeth, gets ready for the day. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I always go downstairs, whether it's at her house or my house, and I always hang out with the dog. So this time I opened up the cage, and Riley wasn't excited. Like, she wasn't excited to see me, which was really odd. And right when I saw that, I was like, this is not good. Mind you, Riley's had issues. She used to have issues in the past where she would use the restroom out back, and it'd just be blood that came out of her. She would try to poop and just blood. And she had many issues like that. We took an emergency vet before, and, they said it was a stomach bug. It was this, it was that. And we said, okay, we gave her medicine. She was fine. She was hopping around, doing her thing. Couldn't really walk at the time either. But she learned how to walk again. Like she this time last year, there was about a month and a half where she couldn't really walk, or not a month and a half, but like a day and a half where she couldn't walk. And then she, was walking fine again. But this time it was Thursday, and she was not. I had to carry her upstairs. Like, she fell walking up the steps. She couldn't do it. I'm like, this is weird, man. Maybe she pulled something playing with Charlie. I'm not too sure. Then we look up online, and what small dogs would do whenever they get, so she was with her with Taylor's family's dogs, and those dogs are much more beta than Charlie. Charlie's an alpha dog. Like, she demands, like, her presence is noticeable, and she likes the attention. And she's huge. She's 100 pounds, purebred black German Shepherd, where Riley was 40 pounds. Sometimes small dogs will fake like they're injured for attention. So by noon, she was fine. Like, by noon, we took her on a 5-mile walk, came back home. She was fine all night. Next day, we woke up on Friday, and she was not able to move again. She couldn't move. She was still eating. We went throughout the day. We thought she would get better again halfway during the day. And by this point, I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? And Taylor was thinking the same thing. We really didn't communicate because we were both scared. We both didn't want to say what we were actually thinking because we were scared. When you're scared, when you speak it, it's reality, and you want to keep in your head. So it's at least just your reality, because I don't want to scare her and think I don't want to say something and her be like, wait, I never even thought about that. So we didn't say anything. Take her to the emergency vet. $200 later, which was actually really cheap. They gave her morphine. She was there till about midnight, which wasn't that bad at all. And the doctor couldn't find anything. We didn't run any blood work. We didn't run it, which we, looking back at it, we should. I mean, it wouldn't have done anything, but like, we would have had 2 less days with her, in all reality. And the vet was like, can't really find anything. We have records here that this time last year she was here, and she was showcasing these same symptoms. And it sounds like she has the same symptoms. And we're like, okay. And they give us codeine, and we take care of our dog. We give her the medicine. I love medicine. I mean, I'm not somebody who won't take medicine. If they provide me with medicine, I'm going to take the medicine because I believe in biology and whatever. And then, but like for these 2 nights in a row, my dad gave her like these treats, these like dental floss treats. And if you go on Amazon review, there's one review there, and it's a one negative. There's a lot of negative. There's not a lot of negative reviews, but there's a few negative reviews. And one of them says, my dog was fine, and then for a whole year straight, was pooping out blood, blah 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 blah. Couldn't do this, struggle with bowel movements, and I was like, oh, okay, well that makes sense, like because she was fine on Wednesday night, but on Thursday night, or Thursday morning she wasn't fine. Wednesday morning she was fine because on Tuesday night, my dad didn't give her one of the treats, but on Wednesday night he did. So I was like, oh, maybe that's what it is. So Friday and Saturday we give her the morphine, and by Saturday she's not getting better. She's not getting better at all. Taylor and I are trying to convince ourselves that she's getting better, but she's not. She's just objectively, if you were on the outside and if you didn't have emotional connection to her, which you would be a sociopath if you didn't. But objectively speaking, she was going downhill, right? She was going downhill quick. So then Taylor and I wake up Sunday and we decide to take her to the vet one more time. At this point, Taylor and I think independently, we're not feeling good at all. But speaking to each other, we kept on saying it's Lyme disease. She's been positive for Lyme disease before in the past, right? Like she's had Lyme's before. She had Lyme's, I think, when we got her from the pound. February of 2018, I think February 2nd of 2018. She must have had Lyme's because last year she came back positive for Lyme's. The vet says the type of test that they do is it's like HIV. Like, yeah, you have HIV, but it's not flaring up in your system. Or I don't know the HIV, but one of the STDs, it flares up. And so we didn't really think anything of it. A lot of dogs have Lyme's. A lot of dogs, it doesnn't do anything to them. They're a little sick every once in a while, but that's it. So we drop her off. We go to the gym, and then the vet calls us, and it was we finished up the gym. We're sitting in the car. The vet called us and basically said that your dog is, she started off like it is not what I was expecting. And right when I heard that, I started crying immediately. Taylor's she's amazing. She didn't start crying immediately, thank God, because somebody had to talk to the vet. She had a very rare side effect of Lyme's nephritis. Nope, not that. Lyme neuropathy. I think that's what it was. No, not that. I don't know. It was a rare nephritis. Yeah. Okay, that's what she had. She had Lyme nephritis, which is an uncommon manifestation of the infection with the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. Borrelia burgdorferi. Can dogs survive Lyme nephritis? This case highlights how presumptive Lyme nephritis can be managed and how dogs can fully recover. That dogs can be supported through the first month of diagnosis. Typically have it. That's not it then. It wasn't Lyme. Well, she had Lyme nephritis, but the Lyme nephritis caused her kidneys to fail. So her kidneys they failed. She was dying. Our dog was dying. Riley, our sweet 3-year-old puppy that we had for 2 years, was dying, and the ladies basically said, you can keep her alive for 2 to 3, 4, 5 months maybe, but you would have to give her these medications on a daily basis. She's not going to get better. She's just going to be in more pain. If you forget to give her medication, she's going to be in extreme pain. She won't be herself anymore, and she's not going to make it. This is what she had. Lyme nephritis led to kidney failure. Basically, the reason why she was drinking so much water, the reason why she was peeing so much, like I'm talking at the last day, like when we got to the vet, she peed in the car, which is something she never did. She always held it. She was falling in her own piss in the Outback. She was falling in her own poop. She couldn't walk, her joints were failing. So the vet basically said, you guys we can give her a bunch of medication and you guys can bring her home. um, bring her home to basically say your goodbyes, right? And my heart just I started crying violently when she said the kidneys were failing, because I immediately went to, oh, that's human. You can't save that. Once your kidneys fail, you're done. Like, kidney failures, you're done. You're not going to survive. And so Taylor and I, we were faced with a decision. Do we let our dog suffer for 3-4 months because we want to keep her, knowing that she does have an end date, and the end date is not moving? It's just going to get closer and closer, and we're going to go through 4 months of just holding our breath, and she won't die on her own. That's the thing with this disease. You don't die on your own. You got to be put down. But the pain and suffering is so high. And for me, it was a no-brainer. And for Taylor, it was a no-brainer too. It was that day we had to put her down. We had to put her down, and it was hard. I probably sound like a sociopath to you guys, because I'm all teared out. Like, I'm crying since, I've been crying since Monday, heavily crying since Monday, and I've been playing nightmares in my head since Thursday, because I just had a bad feeling that she wasn't gonna make it. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, and I'm a very lucky person. I've had a beautiful life. I haven't had that many people pass away that were really close to me. I know several people who've taken their own lives and OD'd, but not super close to me. I've lost my grandmother. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Watching my grandfather suffer with autism, Alzheimer's, is one of the hardest things I have to do currently. Even harder for my dad. But having to put your dog down was the hardest decision I ever had to make. And it actually wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard because it was the most hurtful. It sucked. Like, I'm like right up. I don't know. You guys can't see it, but I covered up all her bowls and her whipped cream bottle. I'll tell you all that. I had to close the room downstairs where her blanket is, and her food, and her little comforter that she used to lay in. And I forgot about this. It's her bandana when she would come to my baseball games, and she would support us, my baseball team. She would come and she would watch us. She would watch me play baseball. She was our little Giants fan, because I was on the Giants, and she would just wag her tail there, and she was our mascot for our team. She was 3 years old, and that's the hardest part. The hardest part is that she was 3. I think if she was like 8 or older, it'd be a lot less hard, because she was 8. She's a fully grown dog. She lived, but the fact that you have to let your little baby girl die at 3, and you're the one who has to make the decision. I'm so lucky that Taylor was thinking the same way I did. This is the way we thought about it. We said, do we want our baby girl to suffer? No. Who is Riley? Riley is a spunky, happy, funny, loving, caring, cuddly dog. Amazing dog. We took her everywhere you can imagine. Heck, dude, she even came in the gym with me a few times. Like, everywhere. She went to Taylor's class. She's been in Blacksburg. She's been in Rehoboth. She's been in Davisville. She's been in Severna Park. She lived at 4 different places. And, we've had her for almost 2.5 years. February 2nd of 2021 would be 3 years. So about 2.5 years. And I was in the picture, in and out. I got to see her 4 days out of the month while Taylor was at Virginia Tech for about 6 months. And then right at the lockdown, it's kind of weird. COVID it's a blessing, for me. Because of the lockdown, Taylor came home, and when she came home, she couldn't go back to her house because everyone was freaking out. We didn't want to carry COVID. Taylor ended up getting COVID in June. But I was able to bond with my dog closer than I got sucks, dude. I got a solid year in with her where every single day I got to wake up and play with my dog. And you can just look at my Instagram. She was everything that I was in a dog. That was my little girl, dude. Like, That was my little girl, man. And I can't believe she's gone. And I can't believe she's gone. And I don't, I just keep reminding myself what helps me get through it. And I know for a lot of people, it's like, yo, dude, chill. It's a dog. But like, that's fine. Like, say what you want to say. But to me, that wasn't just a dog. That dog came into our life, Taylor and I's life, and we needed her because we had our issues. And I mean, I'm still a lunatic, but I'm a control lunatic now. Like, I was a lunatic. I had silence fitness going on. I was trying to do 4 vlogs a week. I was trying to start a podcast. I was, whatever. I going back to school, working 80 hours. Like, I'm a freak, and I was neglecting the things that I loved. And here comes this dog who looks at me like, hey, bro, what are you doing? Like, I'm right here. I need to get pet. And I was like, oh, damn, you're right, dude. Bring your little head over here and your little snout, and I'll give you a little pet rub, a little nose rub. A little white, she had a white tip on her tail, little white paws. And she taught me what love was. Like, she taught me how to really take care of something. She taught me what was important in life. And, I don't know where, if there's such thing as heaven, then that's where she is. But if there's not, I'm telling you, that motherfucker, she created one. She would create a heaven, and the thing that helps me get through it, and the thing that helps me get through it is not for a second did and I would say the same thing for Taylor, think that we made the wrong decision. And one of the reasons why is because if you knew this dog, if you knew who she was, if you knew who she was always down for a good time. She was a happy dog. And you don't want to see the way that she was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all the way up to Monday. It wasn't her. And it would be selfish for me to keep something in this world because I don't want to let her go. I had to let her go. It was my duty to let her go. Because if she could speak, she would be like, hey, dude, thank you for every moment that you gave me. Thank you for rescuing me from the SPCA in Roanoke. Thank you for being the best dog dad. Thank you for letting me get on the couches, get in your car. Thank you for everything. All the hikes you've taken me on, the beaches you've taken me to, the states you've taken me to. Thank you for every single thing that you've ever done for me. But I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to yelp because you guys are grabbing me. Because you guys know I love when you pick me up. I don't want to have to fall in my own piss. I don't want to have to struggle to eat. I don't want that. And so we had to decide to let her go. So Riley's gone. She's not here on this planet anymore. And I'm still in shock. I'm recording this on a Wednesday. We put her down on Monday. I know the grief process is long. I mean, it's going to take months for me. I came into my house. I've been avoiding my house because this is where she suffered for so long. And I'm by myself today, which is hard. But it's going to be a while. It's going to be a long time. But that's okay because that just goes to show how freaking awesome she was. And I know if you're watching this video and you ever met that dog, she left a paw in your life, a print in your life. Because she was fantastic, and I love her to death, and she knows that. And when we put her down, we had the whole family there, everybody. The only person that wasn't able to make it was my sister because she was out of town, and I didn't want to ruin her her vacation. I love her, and I don't want her to have to drive 2 hours from Ocean City, to come put down my dog. Like that would be effed up. Like that wouldn't be cool at all. And a lot of things I've been doing is because I've been thinking about my dog, but they gave her a lot of drugs right before we put her down to basically keep her, to wake her up a little bit, and they brought her out like, on a gurney. She was strapped down. Her back was strapped down. She was on her side. And, everyone, me, my mom, my dad, Taylor's dad, Taylor's mom, Taylor's sister. The vet was so nice to let us all be there. We all had masks on. We were outside, and it was so weird. For 4 days in a row, it was rainy and gloomy. And if you knew Riley, she loved the freaking sun, dude. I'm talking like she would go outside, look for a sunspot, and just lay in it. She was golden tan. And if she was inside and there was like light coming down, she would be the first one there. And she loved it. And so we pushed her out, and she waited for the sunniest day of the week so far to be put down. And she knew it. You could tell that she knew it. She didn't look scared. That was the thing that helped me the most, is she saw us and she was the happiest I saw her in 5 days. It was the happiest I saw my dog in 5 days. Let me get this fan real quick. It's really hot in here. 1 second. And so we went ahead and started the process. The lady let us spend time, as much time as we wanted. So we spent about 20 minutes with her. It was Memorial Day, so she, the people working there went ahead and brought out like beef. Like, I'm talking like straight up brisket. Like, I almost went ahead and took food off my dying dog's plate because I wanted it. I'm talking, she had brisket, she had a cookie, she had, what else did she have? I think she had like beans or something, green beans or something. We brought a full bottle of whipped cream, and we fed her the entire, I actually have it right up there. We saved it. We fed her the entire bottle of whipped cream because she loved whipped cream. That was her thing. Like, she loved whipped cream. She would take it from Charlie. She loved whipped cream. It was her favorite thing in the world. And she just went after her for about 20 minutes. And then we put her in the shade. She was panting a little bit. And then you could tell she looked at me and Taylor. Everyone was around, but she looked at Taylor and I, and she was like, I'm done, guys. I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for loving me as well as you did. I hope I brought you the joy that you too deserve. But my job here is over. And Taylor and I looked at each other, and we pulled her out in the sun. She was no longer happy anymore. You could tell she was in pain. Taylor and I looked at each other, and we went ahead and rang the doorbell. Person came out, and Riley she knew what was going on. She knew she was about to be put down. They filled her up with like the milk stuff, which put her to sleep immediately. I put my head, my dad he's such a beautiful man. He is such a beautiful person. My dad's, I can't ask for a better dad. My dad is freaking amazing. And I don't think people tell him enough. I'm going to tell him more how great he is. And if he's listening to this podcast, just know, Dad, you are single-handedly the person that I am today. All the confidence I get for the person who I am, and all the people who are, say, Mike, whatever they say about me, it's because of you. I want you to know that you are an amazing role model for me. And I don't think you get told that enough. But I love you, Dad. He held Riley's head. Taylor held her head. I held her backside, and I put my right ear up to her chest, because I wanted to know when she passed before anybody else knew. I wanted to hear the heart stop beating. She filled her up, put her to sleep, shockingly fast, like seconds she was sleeping, and then they injected her, and she passed away. She didn't drop her head hard because my dad held her head and slowly put it down. I suffered. It was hard for me. It was so hard for me. I took her collar off and I slammed it on the floor. I was pissed. I was not mad. I mean, yeah, I didn't want her to go. But I kissed her. I used to always play with the lips. I pulled her lips a few more times. And it was hard. And, Taylor and I have been doing what we can do to just get through it and, understand that this is what happens. And, like I said, the why is not the answer. We can't look for the why because the why will never exist. There's no reason for a 3-year-old dog to die. There's no reason for that. It doesn't make sense. If life really worked in a way that good things live forever, then that dog would be 125 years old. But life doesn't do that. So it's a waste of time to look for the why. It's better to just accept it and move on and understand that she's forever in my life. This collar right here is never going away. I have a new perspective on the world. I got a new perspective on the world. I know what's important, and I'm going to just focus on that. I'm just going to focus on a few things now. You know? Taylor and I went to the mall yesterday, and she's like, oh, you want to go to the SPCA? I'm like, what are you talking about? Really? Already? It's like a rebound after you break up. Already you're going to do that? But it was a cat. SPCA at the mall, they have a bunch of cats because, when we had Riley, I talked to Taylor, I was like, we should get a cat. Riley would love a cat. And I always kind of wanted a cat because cats have such a, I want a cat because I want to be woken up one morning with just like a dead animal out in front of me. And my cat just looking at it like, hey, I killed this thing. You want to cook it? I like watching them hunt and kill things. They're just like miniature tigers that hunt and kill. But we went to this SPCA at the mall and we just kind of, hung out with cats. They just let the cats out. I thought we were going to get a bunny. But, yeah. So that's that. I might make a post on Instagram, but I feel like her life was much more than just an Instagram post. Well, if you look at my Instagram, you wouldn't say that. But, and she's gone, and I wanted people to know, that's why I didn't post on Tuesday. I feel like I shouldn't have to. I feel like I should explain it to people, but I shouldn't have to because it's personal and I don't need to, but I will. Yeah. That's that. Riley is now gone from us. Never forgotten. I have her here. We cremated her, so we're going to get some of her ashes, and, we got 2 tufts of hair, a paw print and a nose print. It's just weird. Like, you set up this future. Like, she was 3, so I thought she was going to live to about 12. So that would put me at 33 years old. And, by that time, hopefully I have kids, Taylor and I, and hopefully we will be married by that time. And, you just always have this imagination, like this picture of you, me, Taylor, the baby, and Riley there. But now that's not there anymore. And it's hard to rationalize that. It's impossible to rationalize it. But dude, whatever dog we get next, when that time comes, and I'm not saying that I'm ready now because I'm not ready now, that dog is going to have a hell of a time because Riley set the damn standards. We walked one of my girlfriend's, family's dog, and the dog was like stopping every few seconds to smell something. She had terrible poops. Like the poops were like slimy. She pooped way too much. Like, she was pulling, and I was like, oh, my God. And she was, like, barking at other dogs. And I was like, oh, my God, we had the perfect dog. Like, Riley didn't bark at other dogs. She would honestly forget that she was a dog and just walk by him and then turn around and be like, oh, that was a dog. I'm a dog. She wouldn't bark at other dogs. She wouldn't, her poops were solid, which is, like, a big deal when you're a dog owner because you don't want to pick up, like, slimy poop and ruin people's grass. Like, you want nice, chunky poop so you can just clean them up. She was great. She was everything that you could ask for in a dog. Loving, caring. She knew when you were sad. She would comfort you. And I think that was the hardest part is that we couldn't comfort her. We couldn't take care of her. We didn't have answers. Medicine wasn't advanced enough. So basically this whole podcast is me just saying Riley has now moved on. She's in a better place. Like I said, if there's a heaven, she's there. But if there's not a heaven, I'm telling you, dude, she created one. And she is up there with Taylor's bunny, Milk Dud, and they are just doing what they do. And she's in my heart, and she's saved me, and she's changed me, and she's helped Taylor and I's relationship. She was there for me when I was in therapy. So I'm grateful for her. Thank you to everyone who came out, to help us put her down. It wasn't easy. I'm still crying a lot. I'm going to continue to cry. I'm also sick as hell, which did not make it easier. Like, being sick and having to put down your dog, like, ugh, what a pain. What a long day. But I started school, too, so that was kind of frustrating. Like, it's just great beginning of semester. I have a class that, I'm not excited to take at all. Like, this class is business experience, and I think I'm doing everything right, but I'm not sure I'm doing anything right. It's one of those classes that you just want to pass, That's all you really care about is just passing the course. Because it's a hard course. I mean, that's essentially what it is. It's a hard course. What did this guy put up now? I always get worried. Did I turn it in? I'm so dumb. Did I turn it in? I gotta make sure I turned it in. Yeah, I did. I turned it in. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's all I really got to talk about, guys. Thank you so much for putting up with me and, having the ability to listen to me talk about, or thank you for understanding I couldn't upload a podcast because I was really sad, and I wouldn't, you guys know me, I wouldn't ever do something like that. That's not me. I would definitely want to upload as much as I could. But I couldn't. That's another thing I've been thinking about doing. I've been thinking about doing vlogs again lately. Like, I don't know, maybe like 2 vlogs a month. We'll see. I'm in school right now. I might do when I go back to school, just so I can show you guys me going to school and stuff. But I'm not too sure. We'll see. I'm in no rush. I miss vlogging. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been vlogging for since 2015. I think it's even longer than that. Let me look it up real quick. I have so many videos. It's called, I can't say it because it might get me in trouble. There it is. My buddies and I's old YouTube channel. Yeah, it doesn't have any. Okay, there's no content. Good, Mike. Let's see my oldest content from my current YouTube page. 3 years ago, 2018. I was vlogging way before that too. So I've been vlogging since like 2016. So I might end up doing that again, but I'm not too sure. I got to think about it. But thank you guys so much for listening to me and giving me the time out of your day to just kind of vent to everybody. It's been hard, but it will get better, and I know it will get better because Riley would want it to get better, and she wouldn't want us to suffer. R.I.P. to Riley, my beautiful puppy, and I'll see you again one day, buddy. Thank you guys. I love you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. Once again, you guys can donate to the page if you want to. All that just goes back into the podcast quality. Eventually, hopefully, going to get a nice studio. We'll see about that. Only time can tell because college is expensive, bro. But thank you guys so much. I'll catch you guys in episode 198 of the Micro Lab Show next Tuesday. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Have a good June, and I'll see you guys next week.